So when Jones says something like, "Well, Nick Fuentes is he's suggesting he's gay because maybe the way he acts, or whatever," I don't think Nick is gay, but I don't know. You know, there are a little bit there are little things here and there, and I watch. So the difference between me and Jones probably is that I actually watch Fuentes. I watch his shows. I've watched him for several years actually, because he's a truth teller. At least a truth teller to a certain extent, right? Just like Jones is. So I've noticed there's things that are a little bit fishy about, sussy. I guess that's what people say, the word the youth say, the Zoomers say. There's some sussy things about it, and I do remember the Catboy days. But even during the Catboy days, I understood what was going on. I understood what Nick was doing. Nick was actually subverting the subversion. And the subversion was the culture, the gay culture that Zoomers have. He was subverting that, trying to lead them to a better place. Now, does that mean that Nick is gay or bi or whatever? I don't know. I don't think it matters, because what matters is what he's saying and what he puts together. And the thing about Nick is that Nick is very truthful. Or it seems that he's very truthful, in the sense that Nick's show isn't him dictating to people what to believe. Nick's show is, this is my experience today. This is what I went through today. This is who I fought with today. This is all this. This is a device. This is the type of device that Donald Trump uses, that a lot of people use, in that he is able to communicate with people by getting on their level. And what Nick does is basically the same. And maybe it's a con, maybe it's a lie, but if you watch Nick's show enough, it's almost impossible to believe that everything he says is just him making something up. Like, the stuff he says makes him look bad sometimes. When he talks about him, when he's running a show about how we need to fight for the right white race, and we need to mix with the right race, and yet at the same time he's telling people, well, I have this penchant, I have this fetish for Asian women, I have this fetish for black women, the black sin. And sometimes he says, well, he kind of clowns with homosexuality. He does here and there. And the thing is that you have to have nuance to understand what he's actually doing. What he's saying is, yeah, well, we're all human beings. We all have sexual, we all play around with sexuality. Sexuality is a temptation or whatever. And if you're a religious person, then you understand that, right? That he's a human being. He's not like some holier than thou guy. That's what he's telling people. He's saying, I'm just like you. I have all these temptations and whatever. Now, do I think he's a homosexual? Do I think that he's trying to push homosexuality on people? I don't think so. I think, if anything, he's a Zoomer. And if you think Zoomers are gay, if you think that they're homosexuals, then and I kind of do, actually. I think they are kind of homosexual. I think that their generation has been basically indoctrinated and subverted to be gay. Then it makes sense what he's doing. It didn't make sense why he's kind of popular. Like people that the detractors of Nick Fuentes, people like who's that idiot, that the young Turk guy who's a Holocaust denier, the Holocaust against Christians, the Armenian genocide denier, Cenk Uyghur's nephew, what's his name? Hassan Piker, right? That guy. It's funny about that guy is that guy he's a Holocaust denier, but at the same time he's fighting for to preserve he's fighting against the Holocaust deniers of the Jews, right? Which is bizarre. I don't know. Maybe there's some Turkish Jewish connection there. I don't know. Maybe you guys can figure that out. But this is a guy who dresses basically like a homosexual prostitute, right? He has long hair. Nothing wrong with that, I suppose. But he has long hair. He colors his nails, and he's flirted with and he supports transsexualism, right? And to me, transsexualism basically is a conduit for transhumanism, right? So this is a man who's playing with transsexualism, and he's promoting transsexualism, and he even claims that, well, we need to fight back against conservatives because conservatives are going to kill all the transsexuals and gays and everything. So he's big on the unnatural. This is what he's big on, right? He's against the natural world. He believes in the civilization's corruption of sex and everything else. And, of course, that means LGBT, right? And yet he's for these things. And, he's for these things, and yet he attacks Nick. Basically Nick is a closeted homosexual, and I got something to say about that. That for the left, it's not about. For the left, the right wing mocks homosexuals, while the left thinks that right wing people are hypocrites. It's not that left or the liberals are against homosexuality, or that they're making fun of homosexuals, it's that they're making fun of closeted homosexuals. Is that they want gay people to be in your face and all the time, and that's what it means to be free, I guess, is to be obnoxious, and and to be in the World Cup with basically butt fucking each other on the World Cup stage, in Qatar, and that's true freedom, I guess, for the liberal. And that's what it means to be in a free society or something. And I got more on that, but that would be a huge tangent on it. So for Chunk Uyghur Jr., what it means is that when he attacks Nick, it's because he's not gay enough. Okay, it's because he's not openly gay, right? And so that's a device. He's not openly gay, and a lot of liberals and LGBT, they will see things about people. A guy who's a little effeminate, or a guy who's not is not like a super masculine guy. And Nick is actually not a flamboyant. I don't think he's flamboyant. He's actually said he's flamboyant. I don't think he is. I think he's just a regular guy. All right. The establishment who makes these ridiculous waypoints for masculinity. You have to either be a juiced up gay beefcake, that means masculine gay beefcake, to be a man, I guess, which is ironic, right? Again, this is all perversion of society or not, or you have to be a complete faggot, right? I'm sorry, a complete homosexual, effeminate guy, right? You have to fit into a box. You must fit into these boxes, because these people they're not naturalists. They don't believe in the natural world. They believe in control. They believe that you must fit into their boxes, and you must fit into their controlled place. So Nick must either be a gym rat, or he must be a fag. This is the view they have. And this is very much a Jewish mindset. Okay? Because the Jewish mindset, well, yeah, at least the atheistic Jewish mindset is, or the liberal mindset, because it's the same thing, is that you must be open to your degeneracy. You must own your degeneracy, and you must promote your degeneracy, because that's who you are. That is what they believe. You cannot be in between the lines. You cannot be you must fit into a box. So if you're a kind of an effeminate guy, or if you have effeminate features, or if you act a little effeminate, but you are sexually attracted to women, or that, no, you're gay. You're gay, so you must get ass. You must get dick up the ass. You must. And people who fit into this box, people who are part of this matrix, people like Hassan Piker and people like Alex Jones, follow this narrative. They follow the narrative. They're not free-minded people. They, in fact, are people that are controlled, that want to follow a narrative, that want to follow a status quo, Maybe they have some problems with the status quo. Maybe they don't like that. One group sometimes one controlled opposition might control the status quo more than the other sometimes, but at the end of the day, they're the same shit, just like Republicans and Democrats. So when I see Alex Jones basically attacking Nick Fuentes, I think, well, yes, of course he would, because well, I'm actually surprised by it. I'm kind of shocked by it, but I know the attacks. The attacks come from libertarians. They come from liberals. They come from. I know where it comes. I know what the sentiment is and the mindset is, and it's all the same shit. It's all the same brainwashing. There's all the same controlled narrative and the matrix, of how you're supposed to act and how you're supposed to be in society, right? So I'm just explaining to you what this shit is all about. That's all.